Hiya.
Look at this. We are somewhere in the depths of Cornwall, free.
This is called Trevellus Porth. Trevellus. Porth. And that over there is Trevonnant's Cove.
Trevonnant's Cove.
And the village of St Agnes.
And
if you were to look up the valley here, you'd see all the old mine workings for the tin mines. It's Pole Dark country.
Oh yeah, but it is beautiful, isn't it?
It is.
And we're free.
Free. Well,
freedom.
Socially distanced, obviously. We're allowed.
Socially distanced. We're about 15 metres apart.
We're allowed to do this now, apparently. Yeah. Socialising a little bit. So we're talking about getting back on our bikes.
Yeah. We haven't done many. Well, we've been quite good, haven't we? We tried to do videos throughout lockdown, but as you can imagine, it's very difficult to do videos whilst we can't get out on the bikes, and we've been using them for work, blood bikes, whatever. But you can't really go off and do anything because you're meant to be in lockdown. So
yeah,
I think we've kind of done okay, haven't we, through lockdown?
I think so.
But one thing we wanted to talk about was, so your bike's been in the garage for what, over a year now for lots of people. Looking to get back out, what should you think about before you get back out on your bike? Because there's lots to think about, isn't there?
Huge amount. Took a guy out for a check ride the other day and he hadn't been out on his bike since October. And he was really, he was supposed to be an advanced rider. He was really rusty. It was quite something to see. And the skill fade was amazing. So, you know, you have to make sure you got your head in the right headspace if you're going to go out ride.
This isn't about us saying, oh, all these people that haven't had their bikes out on the road have got skill fade. You need to make sure that you've done X, Y, Z. It's about us also saying, because our riding's been reduced significantly, Mike would do like 40,000 miles a year, I'll be like 25, 30,000 miles a year all around the world, and that's just not happened. So we've just been kind of riding the same roads all the time, but very, very infrequent.
Yeah.
Compared to how we used to ride.
Yeah.
So it's not about us saying all of the bikers out there have got massive skill fade. It's about us recognising that we've got it and trying to impart some knowledge of how we've thought about overcoming that for some people that might want a bit of advice.
I think you're right. So what we need to do, but if you're going to get your bike out and it's been sat in the shed for a while, you might have had it on an Optimate, charging your battery and all the rest of it.
Thank God I did, because it went flat.
But you need to think about your bike and what it's actually been doing. If it's been sat there and you've not turned it over, you haven't been riding it, like the oils have all settled down in the bottom of the bike, you know, and all the sediment and crap is there. Fuel might have been sat in your tank for a long, long time.
Yeah.
Okay, so you just got to be really careful. The most important thing, I think, is your tyres.
100%, and even the last, because I haven't ridden, this is the first time out for about 3 weeks because I've been doing stuff at home and work and all that sort, and lockdown, and I needed to put air in my tyres.
Yeah, but also if your tyres have been sat there, you know, it's rubber, and rubber rots.
Yeah.
When it's in a dry environment and it's not being used and all that, you've got the weight of the bike sat on the one part of your tyre for however many weeks it might be. You might get a flat spot on the tyre. So you're really going to have a look at them and make sure they're still good to go, fit for purpose.
And I think we did a video quite a while ago. We'll put the link up in the card somewhere or down in the description. Do you remember us doing a video about...
Was that a dance?
Do you remember us doing a video about powder checks?
I do, yeah.
And those that you don't know, people that are in the IM and ROSPA, you'll go through a process of powder checking your bike. And powder's like an acronym, isn't it? So you look at things like damage in oil and water and that sort of thing. So check that video out. Some people think that it's very anal to go through that. We kind of do that subliminally before every journey, but I think it's really important to...
I think most people do, you know. Yeah, most people actually are, you know, are conscious of looking at their bike before they get on it, you know. It's a silly person who just jumps on the bike, you know, just walking towards your bike, you're looking at it, aren't you? You know, because that's what we do.
But rather than us going through all those bits, it might be good to just revisit that video and watch it. You can skip through different bits, but we go through why we check different parts.
Yeah.
And for me, I made sure that I did that this morning, religiously went through it, because I know that I haven't been out on the bike for 3 weeks.
Yeah, yeah. But it is important to check it all.
And there's one thing that
I was lost for words then, wasn't it? It was a big sigh, I was lost for words. Unusual, that.
It's unusual. But there's one thing that you should make sure that is right before you get on the bike. Well, a couple of things. So your bike, that it's roadworthy, you've gone through your powder checks, your oil, your water, all your tyres are okay, that it runs, the battery's not flat. but 2, that your insurance is still valid, because some people might have put it out of mind because they haven't needed to renew it. They might have cancelled it.
MOTs.
Your MOTs are up to date, that sort of stuff. But more importantly, more than any of that, that you're in the right headspace to ride. Because I've noticed, even on lockdown, when I was riding to and from work, how my concentration wasn't as it was before lockdown, because I was using the bike a lot more. And I was concentrating, but then I'd look down and then the speed had gone up because there was no one to reference on the road what speed I was doing other than the speedo. And then today, getting on the bike, you know, things like relatively easy manoeuvres around corners and things, I'm thinking, well, I'm actually a little bit rusty. I need to just slow things down and in my head make sure that I'm not getting on the bike and riding as if I've been riding yesterday. I've not forgot any of the fundamentals, but I think it's an important thing to recognise that you might be a little bit rusty, and that's okay.
When we go on tour and we pick people up, you know, you get off the ferry or get off the tunnel or whatever it might be. In our the company we ride for is Magellan Motorcycle Tours. We actually have everybody in like a line of ducks behind us to begin with.
Yeah.
All right, and people go, oh, you know, let's get on. The reason we do it is everybody's really excited about getting back on their bikes, you know, and going on holiday. They're in a new country.
Yeah, new side of the road.
Some people have never ridden abroad before, you know, so we keep it nice and steady, nice and slow to the first coffee stop so everybody can sort their head out and go, oh, that's how they drive, you know. You have to employ the same tactics here now if you haven't been out for a while. And, you know, it's really important.
Yeah.
I've seen guys who I've taken out on Czech rides, you know, recently, who've just like, my God, you know, you haven't even considered anything, you know. We've got a really dangerous roundabout not far from where we live, and I've seen people go around it without doing shoulder checks, no indicators, you know, and it's just, it's a nightmare roundabout. There's always accidents on it. Chiverton Cross it's called, for all those who know it. And it's just frightening that people get on and don't consider the repercussions of what they're doing.
Because what we're riding is a pleasure machine first and foremost, isn't it? Because we wouldn't be riding it otherwise. It's the most amazing thing for so much. I've got a fly going around my head. And again, get away. It's the most amazing thing to be on is your bike. It opens up your circles, you make friends, you go to places you never thought you'd go to, you have experiences you never thought you'd have. But it's a killing machine, not necessarily for other people, but where we've got to be careful about is it's only 2 wheels and it's a killing machine for us, isn't it? If we get it wrong. I make mistakes all the time.
Yeah.
But it's about recognising those mistakes and thinking, am I in the right headspace to go out riding? And it might be that you start off with short journeys like we've kind of done, really. We haven't gone hours and hours out of our way just to get used to being on the bike again. Mm-hmm. Because I had these endorphins going through my head. Got on the bike, it's like, well, hey, I'm back out. And it's such an amazing feeling for mental health. This is the best thing to be doing, isn't it? Out on your bike, free, listening to music, quiet headspace if you don't want to listen to music, but just riding your bike. But what hit me today, so it's the first time I've been out on the road in about 3 weeks. In my mind, it's still kind of lockdown, but people just don't seem to be doing anything about lockdown. No. They're all out, and I was really surprised with the amount of cars that were on the road. Yeah,
it's busy, and it's getting busier. Yeah. And as the lockdown eases in the UK, I know in other places they're going back into lockdown, but in the UK we're starting to ease a little bit, and I think we've just got to be really careful.
Yeah, because the enjoyment's out there to be had.
It is. So, if you think you need more training, there's lots of training groups to get involved in, the IAM, ROSPA, okay, and they'll be more than happy to take you on. But I suggest that for a lot of people.
Yeah.
And I think we're about...
Have a look at a couple of our videos about what to check. And if you think that you're going to be okay with riding and you want to go on a tour, have a look at what Magellan are offering for the end of the year and through next year. Have an amazing time away.
We will, and we always do.
I'm so looking forward to getting away.
I can't wait. So,
yeah, if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Really take notice of what we said. It's not about us trying to dictate, but just have a thought in the back of your head. Take things easy when you get out, because that's certainly what I'm doing.
And look at this!
Free. We're actually out in the open air. How cool is that?
See you in a bit.